So now starting today's session without taking much time, and hope that you did well in phase one exam. And I heard from some of you that because 50 questions we discussed that day, out of that I think some 25-30 were of securities market, and most of the other questions were of general awareness. So today we will discuss about the strategy for phase 2. Am I still audible? Because now I see that the video is not coming here. So I don't want to waste time in setting up that video. So maybe we will come with that perfect video audio thing later sometime. Are you able to hear me? Okay. Thanks guys. So yes, and in addition to that, there are many questions in the mock test, and some of you are writing you did all 10 mock test. So that, and I hope that all of you clear phase 1 exam and appear in phase 2. So we will come to how this phase 2 is different. So I am that's why talking about the differentiated strategy. I will also tell you about some sample questions, not like 50 questions, but maybe 5-6 questions to tell you that how you shall attempt and how you shall skip. Because now phase 2 exam is different. You can allocate your time in this 1 month. So actually you have now less than a month for phase 2 exam. So what kind of time allocation shall be there? So I will tell you that, right? Yeah, I will tell you about mock test for English and what we have in our course also. That also I will tell briefly. So first coming about why phase 2 exam is different. So phase 2 exam, unlike phase 1 exam, phase 2 exam is more about knowledge. See Prashant, if you don't know SEBI kya hai, so I think there is no point staying in this session, right? You can Google and ask what is SEBI. Please don't waste the time of the class. And this type of audience is really not required. Pardon me if I sometime offend people, but you shall respect the time of others. You are not here to ask what is SEBI. Okay, coming back to the session. So differentiated strategy, phase 2, what is that? So phase 2 exam is different from phase 1 because in phase 1 we talk about the skill required for solving questions fast and accurate, especially in quant, English and reasoning. Okay, so here in phase 2 you need knowledge because time is not that big a constraint. Still you have to maintain the pace. When you are attempting the exam you have to maintain the pace, but the constraint will not be time. In all three chapters, will all three sections, uh, all three tests, I am coming to that. So but here the differentiator will be knowledge. Second point, here in preparation you have to balance this depth. Sorry for that spelling mistake. It is depth, right? Not depth. Sorry. So depth and breadth of the coverage. So I am going to explain this in more detail. So depth means the deepness of the knowledge. So you have to balance it nicely well because you have so much to cover in securities market analysis, in economics, and in finance and also management portion, then also you have to prepare for English descriptive. So how deep you can do in your studies in every section and how widely you shall cover. I am coming with the detailed syllabus. And English descriptive is 1/3 of the exam. Remember that. Please remember that English descriptive is 1/3 of the exam. So you have to give enough attention. I am not saying you that you spend 1/3 of your preparation time in English, but you have to give enough attention to English so that you score in English descriptive. And 10 marks, 5 marks, even one single marks makes a difference in the final selection, because this phase 2 score is going to be counted for your final selection. Your final selection heavily depends on phase 2 because interviews weightage is quite less. Now, yeah, I am reading everybody's comment. So you in between also you can ask, and agree वालों के लिए क्या scope है, that we will cover in our AF4 discussion, because there all students are coming from the agri stream. So there you can ask more about the career opportunities for agri graduates. But here let's stick to the SEBI. And it does not matter whether you are agri graduate, you are engineering graduate, you are BA. No, BA were not allowed, sorry, agri were also not allowed. I think in this only BTech were allowed. So if you are eligible for the exam, so you have equal opportunity because your selection depends on the marks you score. So you know that now you have 3 papers. Every paper is 100 marks, right? You have securities market, English descriptive, and economics and social issues, and finance and management. You see the syllabus in this portion, and all three are 100 marks. So I will come to that time allocation, but first understand the syllabus in this. And these two paper 1 and paper 3 is going to be objective type. There are 50 questions and you have 40 minutes to answer. So time is not going to be your constraint here. If you know that topic, so you can do that. So time, and here also in English descriptive we have three things: essay, précis writing, and comprehension. So we have separate videos for writing précis, writing essay, writing comprehension, because if I cover that much in this session today here, it may go like beyond the time limits. So you can watch that video. These videos are mostly prepared by Arunima Sinha when we were doing this RBI descriptive classes, and we will do maybe for SEBI also. So wait for that. And here, because you have to write it here and you will be writing with the keyboard and computer system, so you have 60 minutes, 1 hour time in this. Himanshu and Pooja, I think I tried to answer you regarding the English descriptive, but remind me at the end of the session, if time permits, I will try to explain it in more detail. Now coming to the syllabus, because here I'm also talking about the depth and the breadth of coverage. So I want to discuss the important point in the syllabus in securities market, and also in economic social issue, ESI and FM. How you can cover that in 1 month, that shall be the idea. Okay. And yes, I shall also tell you about the SEBI online course in which we are providing coverage of this syllabus, what we are going to discuss here, in form of videos, short videos. These are 10 to 12 minutes videos, and then there are 5 full mock tests. 5 means 5 for FM, 5 for descriptive English, 5 for ES and FM, 5 for descriptive English, and 5 for securities market, and close to 3000 practice questions. And you have already told about the benefit of practice questions when we were discussing in the last session, that 50 important questions. So because if you study in form of question answer, so that really helps you to retain very well, and you can discuss any doubt in the live classes. When we are taking live classes, we are taking 3 live classes for SEBI course, so that we can give enough time in discussions your conceptual understanding become better for clearing phase 2 exam. And we also have subjective section test, sorry, subject wise section test, and subjective, actually I wanted to say that descriptive test for English. And we also have notes in the PDF format. These are summary notes, not like books. So books are book, but these notes are only summary note. If you want to know more about it, you can WhatsApp, call, SMS at this number 92055240028. Now coming to the syllabus. So you have already studied securities market analysis for your phase 1 preparation, and this is the syllabus for phase 2 paper 1. So some I am not able to read your complete name, Bharadwaj. So if you have already taken the package, so that is included, everything is included. uh, that was a complete package what you bought, Bharadwaj Ashish, right? So you need not to buy anything separately. So this is included in your package. This is what I told just now is only for phase 2 package. So now coming to this securities market. So SEBI as a market regulator, you have learned it by now, because these are like very general topics: power and functions of SEBI, executive power, quasi legislative power, quasi judicial regulation, regulating the intermediaries and stock exchange, meanings and types of securities. You learned about various debt securities, equity securities, right? This concept of corporatization, demutualization, we discussed that also in the question that day also. So you have learned these fundamentals. But here, so I am not then again reading all this 10, because you already have this and you can read it anytime. Here, my point is, when we are going for phase 2, so the depth of the study shall be more, because the content, the syllabus, I am just showing you the phase 1 syllabus here. So this syllabus here was like more broad about Indian financial system, capital market, bond market, foreign exchange market, commodity market, international capital market, and then the securities law. So where you told that some of the questions were even, I'm going to discuss some of the questions in a separate, probably recorded video, which you shall get by maybe Tuesday, Wednesday type of, where we are actually trying to compile the questions asked in the phase 1 exam, because that understanding will help you in phase 2 also, right? So we are working on that, not today, but maybe after 2 days we will do that. So in this securities law and the securities market, what you studied for phase 1, and now if you compare this with phase 2, so you will realize that in phase 2 exam, you need actually more deeper understanding. So here also they have written like basic concept related to securities law, capital, public offer, securities. So you already learned this IPO, FPO, whatever, right issue, etc. So various instrument. So here my idea of saying is, you need more depth in securities market. The syllabus, going by line, it looks like too much, but idea is you cover everything. My point is, I said that you have to have depth and you have to have breadth of the knowledge, like, because if you take a book, what I would suggest, so those who are in the course, that is fine, and they know they get a lot of content also. Those who are not registered in our course, to them I will suggest that on these topics you read more online, or you read on surface means take the appropriate topic from the book. Don't go too much deep into it, because in book sometimes the data etc is old, not very much relevant for the exam. And moreover, the exam expect you to understand the concept and know the latest development. Say for example, if you say what has happened in case of SEBI, with this recent chairman, Mr. Ajit Agi, lot of development happened in 2018 itself. Lot many new guidelines. So there, this SEBI guidelines, which are on the SEBI website, the circulars. So these are much more relevant in terms of the recent development, which you will not find in any book. But from the book or from Investopedia, Wikipedia, you need to understand what are these, what are say credit rating agencies, how many credit rating agencies are in India, what are the conditions to become a credit rating agency, how these are different, what type of security they can issue. So you shall know that fundamental. What are merchant bankers? What they do? How you differentiate merchant banker from investment banker? What are DPs? Depository participant. So what are RTAs? Registrar and transfer agent. So you shall understand these terms. And for the latest development in these lines, because all these guidelines keep on changing. If you read from a book, so the capital requirement for starting a credit rating agency may have changed in recent time. So that's my point. Understand from a book, and that Wikipedia and Wikipedia can also help you understand that. And for the latest thing, you go to the SEBI guideline, which are quite latest, and questions are based on both theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge is not very much theoretical, rather conceptual knowledge, and the latest development. So, Amar, you are saying that you are not clearing about clear certain about clearing phase one. So, still, I would suggest you that you start preparation for phase one, because if you clear, so by the time result comes, so I am expecting result may come say earliest a week, or it may go even 2 week. So if you take say average 10 days, so if you get clear, and then you start preparing for phase two, you would be 10 days behind. Like one third of the time is already gone, because you have only a month left. And your time is very precious, so even if you don't clear, your knowledge will help you in many other exam, because you are not going to like stop your preparation with SEBI. You must be writing other exams, whether it will be NABARD, whether it will be RBI grade A, sorry, grade B, NABARD grade A, grade B, and then SEBI next year, and then maybe in between RBI assistant may come, or if you are not a bank officer, so you may be writing even SBI PO, etc. So it will help you in some general awareness questions in interviews. So knowledge will not be a waste. So in this 10 days, if you study, I don't think it is going to cause any harm. But if you don't study and you get selected, because this normalization thing, this is one normalization in the score, normalization of score in phase one. So this is one thing many of you must have experienced that in the RBI exam. So that makes the phase one result much more unpredictable. And how this normalization works, I don't know, at least. I have limited knowledge. It is written on the website, but still it is, I think, complicated. So I don't want to discuss much about it. But sometime it has also happened, like somebody has attempted only 15 questions, but he is getting 16 marks because of the normalization. So the point is, all these topics you cover, whatever is there in the syllabus, and have a balance in the depth. So when it comes to the depth, depend more on the latest guideline, latest development in the sector. Anything, anything in the topic, right? Okay. Now coming to the second part, second paper, English writing skill. So here I will tell you two, three things about this thing. So when it comes to Prezi, so please remember, Prezi is not that you select something from the paragraph, like there are say 30 sentences in the paragraph, you select one from here, 10 sentences, one third ho gaya, and my job is done. Absolutely waste. You cannot do Prezi like that. Prezi is rewriting in your own words in a very summarized form, that the meaning is not lost at all. And the word limit, take it like the gospel truth. Don't exceed by a single word also in Prezi. If the word limit is say 50 or 100 words, make it 99, not 101. Don't exceed word limit by a single word in Prezi. A single word. Mind my words. You will not lose anything by writing one or two words less, but you may lose a lot by writing one or two words extra in Prezi. And also in essay or in application or any other, sorry, application was not there. Let me see what was there. Comprehension. Yeah, in essay and comprehension, because these three topics are coming there. So essay, somebody was asking me the topics, what are the important topics for essay. You will find a lot on various websites, what are the current things. And also, if you see the summary of the annual report or SEBI's annual report, so you get to know what are the important things for SEBI. So focus on, if you come to like essay topic, so focus on two things. One is which is important for SEBI, and second which is important for us as a economy, right? So what are the recent economic things happening here? Some social issues also may come, and if we get time, we can give some 10 to 20 important topics, but that you can find anywhere. So these topic, like again say the growth rate versus the reach of that growth, means inclusiveness of the growth, whether that growth is sustainable or not, whether that is creating into the happiness of the human being or not. That is a topic which we are discussing like every time. That is one thing of the development, that economic benefit of development versus the happiness created by the development and reaching it to the poor. So that kind of economic topic, and the recent one in that will be like the impact of GST, impact of demonetization, and the impact of it in the market. So from SEBI website also you will find out what are the important thing for SEBI. Even if you prepare for 5 6 topics, so it will be good enough, because remember, in essay your knowledge is tested up to some level, but here read it again. We don't read it properly. It is English writing skill, guys. So even if the topic is GST, the topic may be GST, but what is tested? Your writing skills are tested. Your correctness of the English is tested. Whether you can see, the paper on English shall be framed in a manner to assess the writing skill, including expressions and understanding of the topic. Right. So understanding of the topic, say suppose you are talking about GST, and rather than writing that how much percentage contribution, that is the fact of it in say increasing the income, etc., etc., you may forget that. Then you may not quote that number. Does not really matter, because you have not much to write. Otherwise also you have word limit here. But how nicely you communicate your message, the understanding of the topic. Do you understand what is GST, how it is different from the VAT earlier, what is the impact on the states earning, why there is a debate states versus center in GST, so how it is going to benefit, what are the short term pains and long term gains. So if you write in these 4 5 lines without any data also, you can write a good essay about the GST. So it's about understanding the topic and the expression, the correct English. So it is not to be heavily fact based. Understanding does not mean that you have to write lot of data, lot of information, the name of the committee, the expert. वो नहीं चाहिए इधर. So this is a test of English writing skills. So focus on that English part, and that will come with practice, because what happens, most of us preparing for competitive exam are in the habit of doing MCQs. So we even tend to forget writing correct English. We do mistakes, punctuation mistakes, comma, full stop, marks of exclamation, question mark. We shall know where to use comma, where to use full stop. This is marks of exclamation. This is question mark. Are you using this in your writing, or maybe sometimes semicolon or colon? So these things also matter, right? So these are important things, but in English paper these are important. So practice this, and here spend more time in practice than on knowing more topics. So Nitin, I will tell you that is it true from, because this question I hear very often that guys from IIT, IIM or top management school guys only get selected in SEBI grade A and IIT sorry RBI grade B. So first of all, I want to tell you how many IIM people are writing this exam. Especially I will tell you about the top IIM, because for them it may not be that lucrative a career. I don't want to go into that debate, but because that is a different debate whether I am graduate will come to RBI. A few may come, but not in numbers, like not in mass. First thing is that. Second thing, here the exam is having 85%, almost 85% weightage in the written exam. So why you don't believe what is written? So it means you don't believe. So everywhere it is written that 85% weightage is your written exam. So if you score in written exam, you have more score in the written exam. How somebody can stop you entering into RBI? Only interview, like, and even in the interview, uh, uh, if you perform well, it's a test of your personality. We are having separate sessions going on for interview. Hmm. So my point is, interview is 15% also matters. I'm not saying because every single marks matter, but this 85% can do all the difference. So if you score, you are from BA, you are from any college, just graduate, you will clear, and many people clear. It is not that I need to justify this. Every year many people without any understanding of the finance, they clear this exam. But at the same time, this is also a fact that those who study in good B school or IITs or maybe any top institute, so they are smart people. If they start preparing, they can do it faster. Accept that fact, right? So they can perform better in interview also. So you don't say that because they are being selected because they are from IIT. They went into IIT because they are smart, but does not mean those who are doing graduation from say XYZ college somewhere in say I will tell maybe somewhere in UP and Bihar and West Bengal and Kerala. So they are not intelligent enough. So many people they come to all competitive exam, whether it is UPSC, whether it is RBI or SEBI, they come from very like modest, even IITs and IIM people are also from very modest background. So it's all their hard work. So all their preparation. So please don't get guided by the people, those who have always reason to find a blame for their failures in life, right? So prepare, you will clear the exam, and it's written there. Okay. Now coming to the economics and social issues. So in economics and social issues, then you will find lot of syllabus. So what I will suggest you in the given time, so understand these terms like measurement of growth. So you shall know what is GDP, GNP, NNP, national income. Then there is methods of calculating this. Right. So these basic understandings shall be there. After that, then you shall read the latest data which you will get because you have been preparing for general awareness, no? So you may be aware about a lot of data. So that is required in this, not that beyond a point you go to the theory of economics or macroeconomics, right? So you have to come to what is happening. So say if I tell you about economic reforms are still being in discussion, like there is a debate going on because some people, even including the president of United States, is talking about protecting their economic, their industries. Now there is again a discussion going on around what WTO was doing. So WTO was talking about more trade, opening up of trade. And now there is a talk about protection, that we have to protect our country, our industries. So if there is more protection means there are more trade barriers. So what are these things? what are like where this conference happened, like the latest things are important here. So once you know in which year WTO was formed, so WTO was formed in 1995. So after that, story in between, how many conferences etc. are not required, then come to the latest thing. Then come to the latest thing. And likewise, in case of monetary policy, fiscal policy, understand the basic difference between monetary and policy and fiscal policy, how it works, who frames monetary policy, who is responsible for fiscal policy. So what is this industrial and labor policy? Not that every line of it, just read it briefly, because you have to maintain that breadth and depth. So in this topic, if I tell you about economic and social issues, the agenda is about the macroeconomy. Macroeconomy is the economy of the country, right? So this macroeconomy, and here the latest data is much more important. The latest thing, say maximum for last 6 months, and the major data, but requires you to understand these things. So what is privatization? What is economic planning? Economic planning, how it works. So economic planning, if you talk, it starts from the first 5 year plan. So you shall have at least a brief idea what were the say 2 3 important things that were done in uh, first 5 year plan, second year 5 year plan. What is this 5 year planning? What was the planning commission? Now planning commission is replaced by Niti Aayog, right? So you shall know that in first or second 5 year plan, the agenda was more on industrialization, on creating irrigation facilities, because that time our land were not irrigated. Our economy was primarily agriculture economy. Agriculture was contributing to 50% of the GDP. So then what I'm saying, if that time you know this story, that that time agriculture was contributing to 50% and now it is contributing to 15%, so you need only these two numbers, not the story in between that. About say 5 year plan, you shall have at least just know the years. That plan one is from 51 to 55 56, then second 5 year plan, then third fourth, like that. And now the last 5 year plan, after that Niti Aayog thing came. So that is a brief about the planning. Likewise for balance of payment, export import, how it works, how change in the exchange rate affect your balance of payment. What are the component of balance of payment, capital market, current market, brief understanding. Then the latest thing, so WTO thing I already covered. All international economic institutions like IMF, World Bank, when they were created, what is Bretton Woods conference. So brief, and this brief you will find even on Wikipedia. For India's social structure in India, I would say don't read it even point wise point. If you are reading general awareness thing for say last 6 months, so you know about major report, what are the important issue in India, you may be already aware. The data about illiteracy, about unemployment, about gender issues, the important thing say in sensex, and this keeps on coming in the recent news. So that is important. And then comes the finance and management. So here the finance part is more complex in nature, so I will say, so more complicated, but some part like primary secondary market etc., this bond equity, this thing you have studied for phase 1 when you were studying this security market analysis paper. Hmm. And this financial system like money market, capital market, that also I think you have studied. Institutions like SEBI, Exim, NABARD, and SB, functions of SEBI. So this is somewhat repetition of under securities market, money laundering, KYC framework. So in finance, you, because many of you may be also preparing for RBI. So if you see the difficulty level of this section is going to be lesser than what is there in RBI, I believe, because in RBI some of the questions in finance sections are really difficult one. And then these has all these topics of like derivatives, financial inclusion. So entire syllabus which is there in the RBI, union budget, inflation. So about union budget, we have summary of union budget available on our website. That is good enough, because otherwise also the data in the budget is now old. Right? There is no point reading everything in the budget. You may have one or two question, and that will also give you the broader understanding of the economy. What is budget? What is it meant for? What are the major expenses for India, and what are the major income for the country? So I'm reading some of the comment. Anune says, can we start with ESI phase 2 till the result come? I am not able to clear. SEBI can continue with ESI because it will help me in Nabadan RBI. So Anna, if you are in the course, so we can discuss that in class, and it's a good suggestion. Definitely, we can do that. What is the typical role of an information technical stream in SEBI? How to prepare for IT? So, Nitin, for IT, I would say again, because IT thing you may be knowing better, the one paper, but the other paper like English writing skill will be helpful. What I was saying. So, IT, I think you have to take help from somewhere, someone else. I may not be able to help on that. Mm, Oh, Ayush, I am impressed. Yeah. You are saying that you are able to score 32 because of that one video. I am really impressed. Okay. But you may be knowing a lot before that, but I am happy to know that if it helps up to that level. So I am skipping this and going to the management now. So because I will conclude that how you can spend your time, how you can divide your time in different sections, and I will give you some example questions also. So management topic, I will tell you the beauty of management now. So the good part about management, so the beauty or the positive part is you can prepare in less time, right? So that is the best part of prepare in less time, means in say 1 week time you can almost cover everything, and you will read, you will like reading these management thing, the concept of management, the leadership, human resource management, different theories, different styles of leadership. It is a lot to do with the human psychology, and also communication. Corporate governance you must have also studied for phase 1, so the same thing will be helpful here, good enough for the exam. So this thing is very interesting and can be covered in 1 week. Selected topics, read somewhat in deep here, because breadth is given. So somewhat in deep, why I'm saying so, because now the difficult part is, the beauty part is you can cover in less time. The difficult part is it is confusing when you have MCQs. The difference between motivation and moral, I will come to that question today. Right? The difference between different types of communication, verbal communication, non-verbal communication. When we discuss about the theories of leadership, so you will get confused between Hagerbach says the hygienic factors and motivating factor. But when you read, you will find it is interesting when you have examples and you have to decide in this MCQ. So the option elimination become difficult. What is job design and what is maybe something else? I'm not getting the term. So there are so many terms. So that fine difference comes when you do questions here. So what is my suggestion, especially in management? Do a lot of questions. Read it once, all the topics, then do lot of questions, because that questions will help you in understanding better. But this is one section where what you can prepare in lesser time. So these are the book, the same standard book, huge list. Like for management, you can have this SP Robbins, which is our national behavior. This Coons also is a good book, but it depends on in the limited time what all you can do. So otherwise, as I started in the beginning, restrict your time in the book, give more time to the recent development around this. So Shivani, yes. So this is like, I would say, like topic like capital budgeting, cost of capital, cash flows. So these, if you understand the meaning, that is good enough. If you understand this topic, this shall be good enough, because there is so much in the that third paper. It has ESI, it has finance, it has management. So somewhere you have to restrict your depth of the study, because you have to cover a lot. and you people have experienced that in phase 1 also the difficulty level was not that tough. It was moderate difficulty level. So even if you miss a question which is of very high difficulty level, not a question, a few question, 10% question also very difficult level, but if you know all the topics well, you will be able to solve moderate difficulty level and easy questions from all the topics that requires understanding. So now coming to the summarization point, what are the important tips? So as I said, you may skip very difficult question. So don't worry about it. There will always be some difficult questions in numericals in finance portion. If it's a very easy numerical, you can do it, you do it. If you feel like it requires lot of understanding of three financial statement, so but see, if I tell you like finance, so you shall know what is this three financial statement: balance sheet, and income statement, right, and also the cash flow statement. So just understand at least this. But despite of this broader understanding, you may not be able to do all the numerical, because at many times you may have to calculate something based on some data. I will show you one numerical. So you may skip very difficult question, but have that broad coverage that the low hanging fruits are picked. Then focus on the latest development and broader understanding. I think I have been saying it again and again, so I am just concluding it here. Follow this approach. Study, study whatever, from videos, from books, from Wikipedia, from GK Today, study, then test MCQ, and other test will be writing, because English is also there, right? You have to write. I am telling you, you may be feeling I write well. I do a lot of mistakes. See, I showed you know, instead of depth, what I wrote there, death. See, I only prepared this slide, so no, none of us is foolproof. In this also, I may be doing a lot of mistake in comma, in use of the grammar, because we are not native English speaker or English writers. English is our not native language. Even those who are born with native English language, they also do mistake, but we tend to do more mistakes, right? So you please write few essays, do some reading, this comprehension exercises, write précis. Even if you show it to your friends, they will also point it out. You yourself will point it out some mistake next time. So this practice, this testing thing is very important. And the third point I wrote here is to discuss. Discuss means if you are discussing with some of the expert, maybe your seniors, maybe your friends, those who are preparing for this exam, or maybe with us, because the more you discuss, it will help you in getting the better understanding of especially new topics. So new topics may be finance, it may be management, it may be even topics of economics. So and repeat it. So this cycle, so it is not, I will not say that you have 30 days, so 10 days this, 10 days testing, then 10 days discussion. बिल्कुल नहीं करना है ये. This is not required, right? So every day study, every day test, every day discuss. So this is wrong approach, huh? Not that 30 days you have to divide like this. So every day you have to study, every day you have to test yourself, and every day you have to discuss. Now I am showing you some questions, that what type of questions you shall know and what you may skip. Attempt this. Tell me which is the right option. I'm waiting for your replies. So this is a conceptual question. If you understand what is market value, what is face value, what is book value, तो ऐसे क्वेश्चन में कुछ गलती होएगी ही नहीं. Otherwise, this may look difficult. So that is what I mean by understanding. And these type of term you read in financial paper very often. In your many questions, you may have read this. So see, you may be hearing these terms: face value, book value, and market value of a company or of a shares of a company. But when you have these many options, so that created all the confusion here. So Vivek and Prashant, you are right. Option 5 is correct. Because you cannot be certain. You cannot be certain. Market value keeps on changing. है ना? So market value, if I tell you about the three values, so market value keeps on changing. It is a game of demand and supply about the performance of the company. And book value is the value of the assets, the total net worth divided by the number of shares. No, so that also keeps on changing based on the fundamentals, right? So market value is demand and supply. Every day it keeps on changing. Book value is changing as per the financial performance, and face value is the assigned value at the time of issuance of the share. Whatever is the face value, it is the face value. So it has no much relevance after that actually. So that these three you cannot say. If I have to tell you some example, so you say, see the Unitex share, market value is very low. I think it may be lower than the face value they have. So all this keep on changing. So if you are knowing what's happening, so you will be able to answer such type of questions comparatively a easy question, provided you have the understanding of these terms. So that is what I mean to say, what kind of coverage you shall do. Now I have taken one management question. So Huzberg theory of motivation is a very popular theory. So if you are studying, then tell me which of the following is not a motivator as per Huzberg. Yes, Nitin, you are very close to. Book value is not exactly a theoretical number, because book value keeps on changing every quarter or every with the financial performance of the company. So if the company is not performing well, the book value also will go down. So face value you can say is like one time given the face value assigned to the share, so which is more of a theoretical number. So Huzberg gave two factor theory. So one are hygienic factors and other are motivating factors. Hygienic factors are like something which is minimum thing required and which is not creating motivation but are minimum expectations. So yes, so many of, not many, I think only Prashant I can see who wrote this interpersonal relations, right? Vivek also wrote interpersonal relations. So yes, so interpersonal relations are like something you can say hygiene. So which is minimum thing required. So if I have good interpersonal relation, it does not mean I will be motivated to do the great work. But having more responsibility at job or more recognition, there are certain jobs where there is only recognition. People do it, like many people come to government services for more responsibility and more recognition, even if the salary is lesser. Challenging work also motivates, and of course, personal growth motivates almost everyone. So, this salary, status, benefits. So, you need to, when you are studying this, you need to have examples in mind. Practice more. And the more you practice, the more you will realize. So as I was discussing, no, these type of questions create confusion. What is moral and what is motivation? Two term. And you see the options are also very narrow, right? So when you have these kind of narrow options, so that creates the confusion. That's why I was telling that study, test, and discuss. In this question, though it's from a management side, so the beauty and pain of this management section is this. So it's good to do, means good to study in less time, but it's confusing, unlike finance and economic questions where the answer is very certain. But still I am happy to see Prashant has answered it rightly. Moral is individual concept and motivation is a group concept. Okay, one or two more questions, then we'll close for today and I will address any questions you have. So this is I took from, say, economic portion, ESI. So you shall understand. So when you see all these options, you shall know what is oligopoly, what is monopolistic competition, monopsony. All term you shall know. So combining element of monopoly and perfect competition. So Shivani, I'm not sure where it is stopped. So I think I am back. So I may repeat this what I said in this question. So this is one question where you may skip, because if you know this, very good attempt, you will get the marks, nothing wrong about doing this question. But my point is, even if you are not able to do this question, it is fine, because there will be some difficult question like this in the exam. So if in our mock test, because I am confident that every one of you will be attempting the mock test. Our mock tests are free at ixamBee.com. So even if you find some questions like this in the mock test, so don't worry much about it. Don't worry like you are not able to do it, because even if you skip 5-10% of the question not able to solve, still you can crack the exam, because in 1 month you focus more on what you can do. Last acha, oh I last question answer. So last question answer was monopolistic competition. So I forgot to change this color. The answer was monopolistic competition. I didn't realize when the streaming stopped in between. I lost the connection. And later you can pause the video here and you can read all this. And these type of questions you may again find in the mock test, because I am taking all these questions from our question bank only. I get hardly time to create questions, new questions. So I take questions from our question bank, some sample question. So this we discussed. So here, if you want to understand the answer here is option number 2, 50,000, right? Because how we calculate book value, net worth divided by the number of shares. And in this you have this book value. So now you can calculate the net worth. So this market value and face value is given only to confuse you, right? So but if even if like you miss sometime numericals, it is okay. So don't worry about it, because if 10% questions you don't know, you know 90%, there are certain mistakes also, you are definitely in the exam. So focus on that, right? So I'm done with the examples. So now if I tell you the time allotment for next 30 days, so I would suggest you to still focus more on this section, securities market section, because this also covers part of this ESI and FM. The syllabus given for the securities market, part of ESI and FM also covered there. And moreover, this part of this ESI thing is covered in your general awareness preparation, especially the data part. So you give maximum time in the security market analysis, and then this paper, and many of you may be preparing for other exams like RBI and NABARD. So there also you have prepared something in ESI and FM, but securities market is completely new to most of you. You have to sometime study some sections also, as it was asked in the phase 1 exam, and also give 10-15% time in the English. Do more practice. Just understand the fundamentals, what to do in precis writing, what to do in comprehension, right? And what how to write a good essay. I don't think that you people don't have knowledge about writing any topic, whether it is judicial system in India, whether it is the shifting from agrarian economy to the service based economy now. So you have that fair understanding, but you practice writing. You practice, you will, because you will realize despite of your good knowledge you do mistake in writing in English, writing in English, so that you get checked from some of your friends. So I think I am done from my side. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Otherwise also you can ask later on in comments, I will reply. Last question was 50 lakh, no? This one, 50 lakh. Okay, monopolistic competition. Yeah, it was monopolistic competition. Thanks, Ashish. So guys, thanks for your time. And if you have anything to ask later also, you can ask in the comment, I will reply. Appreciate your association and liking to ixamBee. Hope we improve and make it better. Thank you.